So I think a lot of people would be surprised at the amount of cards I've been able to accumulate in the past 5, 6, 7 years of being heavy in the points and miles game. The annual fees that I'm currently paying right now don't really add up to that much. Now I watch a lot of people on YouTube, a lot of our favorite creators all have annual fees, and I see some people like 3, 4. I think I even saw somebody had $5,000 in annual fees. I'm forgetting exactly who is who, but I made me really realize, like, and actually reevaluate how many annual fees am I really paying every single year now. And considering I actually just canceled my Amex Platinum card, right? Our beloved Platinum card, I figured now would be a good time to kind of do an overall recap on at least all the cards I've gotten, some of the issues that I have seen and have dealt with, and only mistakes I've made along the way of getting annual fee cards maybe a little bit sooner than I should have, and also a little bit of as a precautionary tale for anybody who's looking to jump into annual fee cards that are kind of on the fence about it, like, do I spend this money? Do I not spend this money? And to kind of maybe learn from my mistakes and to learn from maybe some experiences I've had with annual fee cards that maybe you should wait a little bit longer to dive into it. But we'll talk about it, and we're going to be talking about it all from the beginning. And if you guys want to see a little bit of a magic trick, well, these are all my annual fee cards from the beginning to the end. Just this little portion right here. So bam, let's throw that on the counter and let's go through it one by one. Starting with the first one, which is the one that I would say I was the most influenced by in social media back in 2020. And that this card was the one that did it for me. This was the card that really broke me into the world of annual fee cards, and it's not a card that most people would start out with. Most people, I would think, would start out with like maybe a Chase Sapphire Preferred at $95 annual fee, or maybe like an Amex Green card back then. Maybe a $95 annual fee. Now it's $150. No, I actually started with the Amex Gold card. Oh wait, this is not the Amex Gold. This is the Lion card. Sorry, we don't want to mention that one. The Amex Gold card, right? And oh wait a second, this isn't even the correct version. In fact, we're supposed to like the white gold version. Am I right? Well, sorry, we don't like the white gold version. We like classic gold. Am I right? Come on, look at the uncanniness right here. The Amex Gold card. So I think most people wouldn't have started out their annual feed credit card journey at the Amex Gold card. In fact, it's one of the highest annual feed cards basically in the entire world. I mean, we have our Amex Platinums, we have some of our high-tiered Hilton and Marriott cards, Delta card, all these different cards, but at least now, $325 every single year. This is a very, very expensive card. Now, of course, I got this many, many years ago when it was just a $250 annual fee card. But jumping from zero and having like 5 different cards to jumping to $250 every single year for a single card was a little bit daunting. And at that time, I will say that I did run the numbers, like a lot of you guys probably watching do, and I tried to be very conservative with all the credits that I was getting versus the annual fee. And I said, well, at this time, I'm working, 12, 14, sometimes plus hour days, being a driving teacher in New York. And, most of the time I was getting off work and I was like, all right, let's just order food. Me and my girlfriend, wife now, let me order food from Grubhub, or let me order food from Uber Eats, something like that. And that's where I realized the real true power of this card, which was that I'm going to be spending this money anyway, and I might as well get $240 in credits for a $250 annual fee card, $10 out of pocket, but I'm going to be earning so much and just paying for groceries and dining out with, new girlfriend, going on a lot of dates and stuff. So you're paying a lot of money. She pays too every now and again, but the Amex Gold's good for that. So, to help on these dates, I was getting 4x back on all of those dates, right? So that's very valuable, and I was able to get a lot of membership reward points in this zone. I would say called maybe 2020. I was able to accumulate a lot of membership reward points. In fact, this was during lockdowns, so we were only ordering out. We were only basically getting Uber Eats and Grubhub. So even though there were certain upcharges, the amount of money we were getting back on either points or just the reimbursement from the monthly credits, plus, of course, the welcome offer at that time, which I think I only got like 45,000 points. Yep, half of the offer right now. So link down below if you want that. That was the main reason, and that's kind of why I got that card initially. Now, if you do some math over time, and I think this is something where I really faltered, and you'll see in the next couple of cards, and where I really faltered over the years, and hopefully you guys learn from me, is that I never truly did the math. I know it sounds stupid, but I did some conservative math on the front end, and I was like, okay, cool, this card seems to make sense. But I never really did like a yearly reevaluation, which a lot of people, in fact, what I recommend nowadays, which is, every year, a lot of people say, look at all your cards, see all your annual fees, see what makes sense. And then, maybe cut some fees, if the card is no longer serving you as it once did when you first got the card. I mean, it's almost like, pretty much picking a stock, every few months, if you are listening to those earnings calls, if the stock is underperforming or you feel like the business is faltering a little bit or it's changing the original mission of that company and why you invested in the first place, well, sometimes you have to cut ties, sell some stock, and jump into other companies that maybe you care more about. So, in the same way that you should invest that way, I think you also should evaluate your cards this way. So, this way, if they're no longer giving you value as they once did, cut the cord, right? But I didn't do that. I didn't do that. I spent many, many years footing that 250 annual fee every single year because I like to have it. I just like to have it. I don't have any real concrete, thoughts on it. It was just I like to have it, and it wasn't much out of pocket to keep it open. In fact, I knew I was profiting, but had I been taking all of that normal spend on dining or eating out and all those things and just putting on like a simple no annual fee, saver one, something like that, getting 3% back, what have you, or even just a simple 1.5% cashback card, like maybe a Chase Freedom Unlimited. I, I think over time, if I actually do the math on all of the money I've spent, which would, be thousands of dollars, I would have came out ahead on those cards that have no annual fee versus paying the 250 and getting some credits back and then using membership reward points and what have you. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty certain that that would be the case, and I think that's the case for a lot of people. I think if you're not spending a good amount of money on these cards, these annual fee cards every single year, you're probably leaving a good amount of money on the table by not just opting in for a no annual fee card that has a decent multiplier. So that's my soapbox in that way. So that's why over time, and I still have the card. It's technically still opened under the white gold, but I'm going to cancel it come February. In fact, it might even be canceled come December. And if you watched some previous videos, you know why. Upgrading to the platinum and getting points and whatnot. I'm not going to go into this video, but if you want to watch the Amex Platinum video, I describe it there. But then since the annual fee raise, and yeah, I do agree that all of the annual credits on the gold card are in fact positive. In fact, if I think you really enjoyed your gold card, you should enjoy it more, unless you really live somewhere where Resi doesn't exist because of the new $100 a year in Resi credits, which I have used. Then I think it's a largely positive, beneficial card, to a lot of people. But for me, and doing all the math over the years and just seeing where my spending goes, I really think I'm doing a lot better just using a lot of my no annual fee cards or just getting cards that have welcome offers on. For me, it's just been basically just an endless amount of Chase Inc. business cards essentially, and using those points for either cash back or travel. But again, that's me. That's my personal situation. You have to evaluate things by your spend. But now let's go into the next card that I got, which was the Amex green card. Oh wait, this looks a little bit different. I've never seen a green card like this. Or maybe you have because you watch the channel, but you've seen this card, right? The traditional card. All right, sorry. Just want to show all the memorabilia while we have it. So next was the Amex green card. The Amex green card at that time, I've actually said on camera that I paid a $95 annual fee. Well, I went back and realized that I in fact always paid a $150 annual fee for the green card. I had realized that I think it was like a couple of months difference between 95 shifting to 150. And for some reason, my memory just intertwined into thinking that I paid 95 for the first year, but no, it wasn't. I paid 150 for every single year I've had this green card. And I can definitely tell you, I had this card way longer than I should have. I paid a 150 annual fee and I got zero. Zero, other than the welcome offer. That's right. The welcome offer, I think I got 45,000 points, and that was a record high at that time in 2020. Basically, about 3 to 6 months after I got the gold, I believe. And that was the only value I got from this card. And here's what brings me to my next lesson in getting annual fee cards that have good welcome offers. So one of my lessons that I hope you guys take with you today is that you have to not only reevaluate your cards every single year. Okay, well, that's a given. That's what we mentioned. But the next thing is you have to also remember that these welcome offers are good, and it can give you a large sum of points and give you a large sum of value in the first year. But if you're not optimally using these cards year after year, or in just the first year, every single annual fee that you pay, even though you got those welcome offer, years ago, you're eating into that welcome offer every single year. So in my example, I got 45,000 points for this. What do you consider 45,000 points? Well, I know that I used it 45,000 points towards, let's just say I never used them before, and I used them towards this MacBook purchase. I cashed them out with my Charles Schwab Platinum, and I got about $500+ in value. Okay, nice. That's $500 in value at a really good redemption method that most people don't have access to. But I paid 3 years of annual fees. Unless I'm wrong, I paid 3 years of 150. That's $450 in annual fees where I didn't take advantage of really any of the multipliers. I just never really used it because I thought I was going to stay in Airbnbs more often. I ended up not. I moved away from New York City where I could use more of the like transit categories on the Amex Green Card. I moved away from there, so I'm not getting benefits there. I think it added clear last year. Am I wrong? Clear last year, but I already had a platinum card, so I didn't need a second clear. That one already covered my wife and I. And it had $100, or it still has $100 Lounge Buddy credit that I never used because and what I'll share in my next card is that I never flew. So I never went to lounges and I never needed to use Lounge Buddy. And if I did fly, I already had the platinum card, so I didn't need Lounge Buddy because I had access to, all the platinum cards lounge access. Okay, cool. So that means this card did nothing for me for 3 years that I paid the annual fee. That's $450 out of my pocket. And I got $500 in value back from the welcome offer. Okay, maybe I profited $50. But I would have just been better off, and you guys at home can agree with me. I would have been better off had I just not been reluctant to cancel a card, maybe because you're afraid, or I don't know, maybe you think you're gonna get value out of something, but really just being honest with yourself and how you spend, or what values you really ascribe to each card, and just cut the cord of the first year. I thought I was gonna get value and I didn't, so that's okay to change your mind. Get the 45K points. That's my $500 in cash value. And then a year from now, I would have only have paid $150, thus giving me like $400 in profit cash. But no, I kept the card open, and that ate into my annual fees. So that's my second lesson: is reevaluate, make sure you can actually use the cards. Don't eat into the welcome offer. It's the most powerful thing you get on these cards, and you can only get them once per lifetime, as per American Express rules. And you also might have realized, and if you guys are kind of newer and getting into this game, that I actually mentioned that I got the Amex Gold card first, right? Like I said, I got the Amex Gold card first, and then I got the green card, and I got both welcome offers. So totaling, I think it was like 90,000 points between the two of them. You can no longer do that. If you did what I did and got the gold first, you would have forgone or forwent your MS Green Card welcome offer. So, lesson to the wise, word to the wise, whatever that goes. If you're gonna get Amex cards, start at the bottom. Start with the Amex Green Card, and in my opinion, don't tell anybody. But even if you don't like the green card, I think just get the welcome offer, wait a year, and then get out. Cancel the card, then go for the gold. All right, nice. So if you're going to get into the world of Amex, start with green, start at the bottom, climb the ladder, get all the welcome offers, because that's going to be the brunt, the large sum of value you're going to be getting over these cards for basically the rest of your life, unless you could somehow get a new welcome offer on Amex cards. So that's the main thing. Reevaluate, make sure you're not eating into those annual fees. And I promise this gets a little better and I get a little smarter over time, I think. So the next is the Amex Platinum card. We alluded to it already. The Amex Platinum card was so nice that I ended up getting it thrice in all the flavors. We're talking the standard, vanilla platinum. If we're talking my favorite design by Kahinda Wiley, the flowers, very beautiful. Or if you want to do the Julie Mehret to museum piece, very, very, very nice. So you can get all the different flavors of it, and you'll have a good time. Nice museum piece. But I got this card, and I've been very open. I made a few videos about this already, but I got the platinum card too early. I was the person that everybody warns you about. Everybody says there's too many 20-something-year-olds who have a platinum card, right? That's like the rhetoric, and that's what you hear online. And they're not wrong. They're not wrong. I mean, basically, anybody with what some people would describe a pulse and a credit score of around, mid 600, maybe 670, something like that and above, you're going to get approved for your Amex Platinum card. So it's not hard to get. It's very easy. I got it on my first try, and that was back then. And I got it too early. I was, I guess I was like 22, I would say 22 years old. We had just got home from a flight to, Disney World in Florida. And I was like, I got some spend coming up. I'm itching for a new card, right? I just got the gold, got the green a few months later. Now I want the platinum. And the platinum card, I've been very open and honest about, and I'm not going to go through every detail of the platinum card. I have done many videos on that, but the main thing was I was not a flyer. I was not somebody who should have had the card. I was not somebody who was flying. In fact, I think if I think about it, from the ages of 22 to now, so 5 years, 27, I have only flown, I think, 3 times. 3 times, and the third time was just a few weeks ago to the New Orleans meetup. So watch that video if you want. I did pretty cool. I had stuff on a Delta flight. Um, so 3 times in I guess 4 years, I guess is what you would call it. 3 times in 4 years. That is way too low. Way too low. And based on my initial conservative math, I was factoring in I'd be flying twice a year. I thought with all these points I'd be flying twice a year, but you just don't do that. All right. When I'm working, like I said, 12, 14 plus hour days every single day, literally 6, 7 days a week, you're just not flying. There's no time to take off. There's no time to do all these different things. So it's like I was paying for a card where the majority of the value from the card comes in flights, essentially not flights, but the lounge access you get on all these cards. Every time I go to, I've been to at least in one way I've been able to benefit is in the last couple of years of flying once per year, I've gone to like 3 to 4 lounges. I think I've been to like 10 different lounges between the 2 flights. So that's pretty sick. A lot of Delta Sky Clubs, a lot of Centurion lounges. And a lot of free food that we would have spent money on anyway. So I think even in just those short trips and small amount of trips, I've recouped a lot of the annual fee. But again, for all those years that I, got the welcome offer of 60,000 points, laugh at me if you want, 4 years ago, and then every single year I'm not flying until like the last couple of years, all of the value that you're supposed to be getting from the lounge access, I was not reaping. So what was I getting? I was getting my digital entertainment credit, paying for the Disney bundle. And I still pay for the Disney bundle now that the card is canceled because it's just, we like to have it. Okay, I'll have it. And, I pay for, a few other people as well. So that's cool. So that's a bummer. All right, $20 a month. What are you going to do? Cancel the Peacock because who cares? I watch The Office, but not that often. Um, so then, one benefit that has always stood out to me, and the only one that I thought was actually valuable was the hotel credit, the $200 hotel credit. Use it towards fine hotels and resorts, and that has allowed me to express and fully enjoy my love for luxury hotels and getting like $100 experience credit, getting the daily breakfast too, all the things that I love doing on every single time I take a trip. A lot of stuff I end up talking about in this channel, and that was the true value. And I would say, think about this. Think about it this way to put it together. I paid $550 annual fee the first year, and then $695 for every year after that. So let me see the math on this right now. And then at the end, I'm going to showcase all the annual fees I'm paying now because it's actually really low, and I wasn't even expecting this, but you'll be surprised. So I paid $550 first year, plus $695, plus $695, plus $695, $2,635 in value, or I should say, $2,635 in cash. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money, man. $2,600 can get you, a 150,000 mile Toyota Camry 2005, probably. That's what I used to teach people on as a driving teacher in New York. So that's a Camry. That's your first car. In fact, my first car was $5,000, and I paid for it with paper route money. And so I could have paid half for that car with all the annual fees I paid on the Platinum card. How much value have I realistically gotten from the Platinum card in that span of years? So I would call the 60,000 welcome offer about $700 in value. So, brings my fees down to like 1,900, something like that. I used the hotel collection the last 4 years. So that's, maybe $1,000 in value. Cause sometimes I think whenever I applied, I was able to double dip or something like that. So maybe $1,000. That brings me down to like $900 out of pocket. The airline incidental fee, I used it for check bags. I didn't use it for United Travel Bank like everyone, suggests you do. I may have gotten $500 in value from that. So that brings our fee to like $400 that I paid out of pocket over the years. And then the lounge access, I would say, gave me probably that amount as well, like $400. And then maybe Hilton Gold status, if you can count it, for the years that I didn't have the Hilton Surpass card to give me automatic gold, then I would say we were plus positive in the value that we've gotten from the Platinum over all these years. But did I really though? Did I really though? I mean, that on paper you could say that seems cool, but it's also not factoring in like, oh, when you do find hotels and resorts, you're usually not just paying $200. You're paying over that. You're paying it for a $300 hotel or a $400 hotel, which I have done. So you also have to factor in like you wouldn't be staying at a fine hotels or resorts anyway. At least I wouldn't have if I didn't have the platinum card and I didn't have to use that credit. So it kind of forced me to spend an extra 150, an extra 200 here and there, and over the years, bam, bam, I lost all the value. And I probably, and in one way, even if I paid just $1,000 out of my pocket to hold a platinum card over the past 4 years, call it $1,000 that I paid, and I lost money on the card. I would say personally, since I am on YouTube, and also since it has taught me that I can figure out how to find hotels and resorts with MasterCard, hotels, all those different things, I would say it was worth it. $1,000 worth of experience on the Platinum card for the YouTube channel to me to make this video, I would say it was worth it. For everybody that doesn't have a YouTube channel or doesn't have any, amazing epiphanies from holding the card, it's probably not worth it. It's probably not worth it if you're flying as often as I am. Once a month, I think that's fine. I think even if you call it once a quarter, I think that's okay. I think I could justify it at once a quarter. I think that makes sense. Even honestly, if I'm being truly honest with myself, I think 2 times a year, if you fly to 2 times a year, I still think the platinum card for me could be worth it. Maybe I'm crazy. I know some people say, you need to be flying at least twice a month, something like that. I get it. I get it. For me, if I can experience lounges and pay just, even if I have to pay $100 out of pocket, for me, that's kind of worth it, for that experience, because you just can't really access those things otherwise, or at least as cheaply as that. So that's just kind of my feelings on it. But it all goes back to the same thing. I shouldn't have had the platinum card at 22 or 23, however old I was. I should have had it now. Actually, probably now would be a good time for me to have it as I'm starting to ramp up. Hopefully, the flights into the new year, and hopefully travel abroad, and hopefully have a lot of different lounge. And even at that, it's why I canceled the card. Even at that, in my hopes for the future is why, and I still canceled the card. So it's like, take it from me, it's enjoyable and I love the card. I absolutely love it. But for at least the years you're not going to travel, maybe hold off. Maybe hold off. Maybe cancel the card. Wait until you're going to travel. Reapply. And that's where I've really adopted. Before I go into the next set of cards, I've really adopted a use when I want to mentality. And I know it's kind of like have your cake and eat it too. But I've kind of found that you can play around with a lot of things in the credit cards game, and I've realized over time that you don't have to be married to any particular ideology, and you can dance between different issuers and different cards. And what I really mean is, if I know I'm going to fly in, let's say I want to fly in February, what is it, 6 months from now, something like that. I mean, like 5 months from now, 4 months from now, whatever it is. Um, it doesn't make sense to me to pay for 6 months of an annual fee of the Amex Platinum card to get to February and then use it then. I am perfectly fine, and not advice for you guys, but I'm perfectly fine personally with canceling the platinum card. And there's a time where like, oh, February I'm flying here, August I'm flying here, and then I'm gonna fly again in October. I'm okay with saying like, okay, maybe maybe letting go of 524 for a second, chase 524 rule. You don't want to build up that 524 status. Reapply for a platinum card around that time, and this way you can use all the benefits for that entire year that you're going to be traveling. And then when maybe the following year you're like, no, it's going to be a busy year. No, we're not going to be flying that much. Okay, cancel the card, and then live your life and have fun, and don't eat that 700 fee every year. Or if you have an Amex Gold card, it's a lot easier because you don't have to take a hit to your credit score, or getting a 524 status. If you just have like a placeholder as like an Amex Green card, you can just theoretically wait until you're going to travel, upgrade to the platinum card, get a nice upgrade offer, and then okay, cool, now you have a platinum card. Then downgrade the year after, whatever you want to do. So use when you need it, or want it, and not necessarily just have it and not need it. It's kind of the opposite. I'd rather not have and not need until I need, and I have whatever the you get the point. Next, let's get into some cards that, oddly enough, 99% of the cards that I'm talking about today, I just realized, are American Express cards, all the annual fee cards I own. Here's the one card that's not American Express. The Chase Sapphire Preferred. That's right, baby. Chase Sapphire Preferred. I still have it open. This was like, If you want to talk about value of a card for X amount of years, it's the Chase Sapphire Preferred. I don't care if you say it's a meh card. I don't care if you say it's bad. I got a 100,000 Ultimate Reward point offer back years ago to pay for my wife's ring, and I was able to put the full cost of the ring on the Sapphire Preferred, and bam, I hit the welcome offer in one shot, 100,000 points. Those 100,000 points have gotten me like, I don't know, three of my last, probably two or three, maybe two and a half vacations this last year, like my stay in Charleston, my stay in Virginia Beach, and probably a couple more, and probably a couple other stays here and there, like one-off stays, all with that 100,000 point welcome offer. And the fact that I was able to get thousands of dollars in value from all the hotels that I would have spent money on from the welcome offer on this Chase Sapphire Preferred, and it's only a $95 annual fee card. And this is a card I've kept open because the annual fee is so low. I mean, literally, like I could have this card for 10 years and still not, actually eat into fully of the welcome offer I got on this card. So I got a cool 6 more years coming. And not to mention that every 48 months you can reapply for this card and you can get another welcome offer. So guess what's coming up pretty soon? Maybe we got to downgrade this card and then, reapply for the Sapphire Preferred, something like that pretty soon and get 100K, maybe 80K, something like that. So that'll be pretty cool when that time comes around. In fact, I'm just remembering that as we're chatting right now. So that's pretty cool. So that's why I've really loved this card and I've kept it open for so long. It doesn't really do much else for me other than just allow me to, again, apply for all my Chase Ink business cards, right? Just here, I'll do a nice little showcase for you guys who are unfamiliar. So here's my Chase Ink cards. Okay, cool. We have hundreds of thousands of points. In fact, right now I think I have or I will have pretty soon, like 450,000 Chase Ultimate Reward points. You take all those points, you move it over to the Chase Sapphire Preferred, and the Sapphire Preferred moves it over to the World of Hyatt Hotel program, at least for me right now. I might start using the portal for the 1.25% cent per point on all of your points. I kind of like the idea of a portal right now because I want to start. I want to keep booking some Delta flights, and I'm finding in the portal by using Chase Ultimate Reward points, it's actually fairly similar to using Delta Sky Miles, oddly enough, and cheaper. But that's just me and just stuff I'm thinking about right now. But otherwise, I got this card for the welcome offer, the ability to transfer those points out, and I guess every now and again I've been able to use it for like an Airbnb purchase, and I got 3x on it. So that's pretty cool. Otherwise, it's just a pretty simplistic, easy card to hold. If I had my choice, I probably would get the Ink Preferred because it's the same annual fee, does the same thing with transferring points to partners. But technically, I guess you can write off the $95 annual fee, consult your CPA. So that would be cool. And we'll probably get that at some point, or maybe I'll just wait to reapply for this. I'm not really sure. Get a new welcome offer. All right, so back to Amex, right? We love Amex. Next is going to be the Hilton Surpass card. Now, this was a card that I got. It was around the time that I got her ring. In fact, I got the no annual fee Hilton card first, 150K points, and then right after I saw the Hilton Surpass had a welcome offer, an elevated one of I think it was like 130,000 Hilton Honors points plus a free night certificate, which, I mean, if I'm being really honest over time, and so I told you guys all of the woes of those other annual fee cards, like the Amex charge cards or credit cards, what have you. There has been very few cards that I can say that have been like true keeper cards, even though I did cancel mine technically. Than the Hilton Surpass card. And in fact, I think it's one of the most valuable cards that I've ever owned. And it might surprise a lot of you, but I have made videos on it and I've talked about the value of it. But basically, the reason I love this card so much, if you're somebody that doesn't have an Amex Platinum card and instant Hilton Gold status literally is gold. Like, I don't care what anybody says. You go to a Hilton hotel that, certain brands that give you the Hilton dining credits, whatever it's 20 a day or 50 a day. That is so valuable. Like, I always bring up the one stay I did in Wilmington, North Carolina. I used like 200,000 points. I booked 5 nights. Of course, if you're silver and above, you can get the 5th night free. So I paid all in points. 5th night was free. Basically, with the points that I did earn from that welcome offer, I mean, I used it prior, but the amount of points that I earned was about similar to what I paid there. And I mean, I can't tell you, like, this was the Surpass for me, at least for me, it was a $95 annual fee card. And when it turned to 150, I did end up canceling it because, again, I had the platinum card. I didn't need gold status, what have you. But at least for all those years that it was $95 annual fee, Well, from the welcome offer alone, the free night certificate, at least for the free night certificate, I ended up using at the Mills house. That was like $300, $400 hotel, multiples of the annual fee. That was already like 4x the annual fee in the welcome offer right then and there. But then also the 130,000 points was like $650 in travel value to me, which easily outweighs the annual fees. But then that one Wilmington stay that I booked in the 5 nights for 5 nights, fifth night free, the amount of gold credits I used at that curio collection that gave you $30 per day was hilarious. It was $30 per day for all 5 days, and I'll call it 4 days because the fifth day, we ate at the restaurant, but I still got food anyway. But I wouldn't have spent that money if I didn't have the credit. So 4 days, $30 every single day, $120 in value. It's already basically paying the annual fee off in one stay just from using the dining credit. So for someone who doesn't have Hilton Gold, I love the Surpass card. In fact, I think the whole Hilton card lineup, like I would say, I'll say it like this: the first Hilton card, no annual fee, and the Surpass. I think get them. Right after one another. Then the minimum spend is not that high, and you can get a lot of Hilton points and accumulate a lot of cool vacations from those two cards, and it's not a lot of money, and it pays for itself, especially now with the quarterly hotel credit that's on the Surpass. So I really love that card, and as somebody who, if you are a beginner watching this and you're afraid of all the other annual fee cards, Hilton Surpass gets a stamp of approval for me. I think that's a great card to get the welcome offer on and hold long term, honestly, and pay a 150 annual fee. It pays for itself easily every single year. Now the next card, which is technically the last one of the annual fees, which is surprising, right? And again, we're going to total up how many I'm actually paying at the end of this video. Right after this, next one is the Delta Gold Sky Miles business card. Talked about this a lot as well, and this is another card for me personally. If you're somebody who is flying Delta once a year, I think it's a keeper card. I think it's a card that I think I should keep it open for years and years and years, along with the Surpass. And again, it's a card that just gives easy value, and you don't even have to use it much. Very easy value and multiples of the annual fee every year just by flying once on Delta. A little bit of the breakdown of the history of it. I got it, I think last year, a little over a year now. And I've easily gotten the welcome offer back 1,000 times over. In fact, the annual fee was $0. If you look right now on the website, it's $0 annual fee for the first year, and then 150 for every year after. I was lucky enough to have that threshold to where it was $0 annual fee first year, and then 99 because I was in like a certain bracket, whatever, but before it actually raised to the 150. So I only paid $99 annual fee for this card. And, with all the benefits I gotten from that, literally just like Delta Takeoff 15, where if you guys aren't familiar, if you pay with all miles, like if you pay for a Delta flight that's 100,000 miles and you have your Delta Gold card, attached to your Delta account, you don't have to pay with the card. You just have to have it attached to your account. You're going to be getting 15% off on that entire miles booking. So 100,000 miles is reduced to 85,000. You just save 15,000 Delta Sky miles, which my estimation at least is worth $150 in value. And would you look at that? The annual fee after the first year is 150. So it's a very easy card to justify, especially the yearly $150 Delta Stays credit, which I've used at pretty cool places like a Hobbit Village once with my good friend Calby. I also used it at another place, and I think it was Pigeon Forge in Tennessee. Very cool hotels, and I didn't pay much out of pocket, unlike FHR that, you have to pay multiples higher since it's, those are more luxurious hotels. Delta Stays credit can be used on, it's basically Expedia, so you can get Expedia hotels, which could be very nice too. So that's an easy keeper card for me. And honestly, out of this entire list, Delta Gold Sky Miles business, Hilton Surpass, and Chase Sapphire Preferred, and you have a winning combo of awesome welcome offers, low annual fees, and easy to justify cards for years and years. In my opinion, those are my most important cards right now. When the time comes when I need lounge access again, the Platinum card will be my most important card. And it's okay to shift between these mindsets, but I guess for long term, it's those three cards. So I said I was going to tally up everything. So if I made this video a couple weeks ago before I canceled the Amex Platinum card, and now that I'm making it now, the total annual fees I was paying or have been paying for a little bit of time is $1,190. Just $1,200 in annual fees. So a little bit lower than you might expect with all the cards I showcased earlier. Unless I'm missing something. I don't think I'm missing something, but $1,190 currently, going forward. But like I said, I canceled the Amex Platinum card, bringing me down to $495 every single year. So just $500 in annual fees that I'm paying. But again, remember I did tell you that the gold card, I'm just going to probably leave to the wayside for now. I don't want to pay the 325. I get all the value, I get all the benefits, and I could value it, but I'd rather keep 325 in my pocket and spend it towards a cooler hotel versus getting it back in the food anyway. Plus, I'm going to the butcher shop all the time, and that's not coding as anything as groceries or dining or anything. So I'm going to minus that 325 as well, because if I don't re-upgrade to my platinum card and I just cancel the gold, all right, what did I just do? I don't know. I did some weird math, but here's the total. Sapphire Preferred and the Delta Gold Sky Miles cards are the only ones that I'm going to probably keep open in just a couple of months from now. So $245 in annual fees for the foreseeable future until I flip flop again and change my mind, and depending on what cards I want. And I have to say, if I really thought about it, if I really thought about all the years that I've had all of these cards, the main things that I would kind of break down, and also the main things that I think about in maybe opportunity cost is all the money I could have saved by not paying certain annual fees and not worrying about certain cards. But then also considering all the annual fees I was paying, I could have had some other cards that probably would have benefited my lifestyle a lot better. Like, had I not had the platinum card all this time, and again, I'll pay for the experience, that's fine. But had I just gone back in time and I could give myself a little bit of advice, I would have said, like, the Hilton Aspire card, it was 450 for a while. I could have been paying 450 every single year and got a free night certificate, got a couple $100 in Hilton Resorts credit, all these different things I could have got on the Hilton Aspire card. And I think I would have had a way better experience over those years. Even now at the 550 annual fee, a way better experience going forward. That, I could have had maybe less out of pocket, cheaper, and more experiences had I just changed the type of cards that I did have. And I think it's something to reconsider every now and again. And everybody watching today, let me know down in the comments below. Are there any cards right now that are eating a hole in your wallet that you think, this is a card that I like to have around, but it would be better if I had that card. Like maybe you guys like a Bonvoy Brilliance, 650 annual fee. Maybe like a Delta Reserve at 650. Maybe like the Hilton Aspire at 550. All these annual fees you could be paying in replacing all these other cards with annual fees that maybe you're not getting benefits from. Maybe it would be cool, cooler experiences down the line. So that's the main thing. It's just reevaluate every year, see where you can get some value, and make sure you're not eating into those annual fees every single year. Keep the cards that are giving you the most amount of value and cut the fat when they're not. And then also do your research and see which cards that you could theoretically, if you don't mind the annual fees, but you'd rather replace it, see what cards that might fit your lifestyle better, that is okay. So with that said, thank you guys for being here all to the end. It's a little bit long, like basically unedited. So I don't know if you appreciate this style. It's just kind of like going off, and just wanted to give my real candid thoughts on my experience over this time. So as always, thank you guys so much for being here all the way to the end. And I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.